Welcome to Meeple Mentor. I'm Jared, and we are about to play Wingspan. Let's take a look. I'll show you how. Feel free to pause the video as needed to follow along with your copy of the game. Players are bird enthusiasts, all seeking to discover and attract the best birds to your aviary. The game takes place over 4 rounds. Players will take decreasing amounts of actions each round. However, the birds played build powerful combos, so actions get more and more powerful as the game goes on. Points are tallied at the end of the game, and the person with the most points wins. Each player gets a player mat to use and all wooden action cubes of their chosen color. Randomly determine a first player and give them the first player token. Place the bird tray in the middle of the table. Shuffle all the bird cards with the light blue feather backgrounds. Deal 3 face up onto the bird tray. Deal 5 bird cards to each player. Shuffle the green-backed bonus cards and deal 2 to each player. Separate the food tokens into like piles and place the bird feeder dice tower in the middle of the table. Give each player 1 food token of each type. Create a supply pile of all the eggs. The color doesn't matter to gameplay. Toss all 5 dice through the back of the dice tower for the first roll of the game. If you want more direct competition in your game, place the goal board green side up. For less competition, use the blue side. Shuffle all the goal tiles and place 1 on each of the round spaces on the goal board. From the 5 bird cards and 5 food tokens given, each player may choose to keep any 5 things. So if you keep all 5 bird cards, you'll start with no food tokens. You may review your bonus cards during this process to determine your best starting strategy. The last thing each player should do is choose a bonus card to keep and 1 to discard. Now you're ready to start the game. In round 1, each player will have 8 action cubes to spend. The second round, 7 actions, the third round, 6 actions, and the fourth and final round, each player has 5 actions. I'm using special birdhouse tokens I ordered from Etsy.com. There are 4 basic actions players can take throughout the game. All are shown on the left of the player mat. You can play a bird card from your hand to the aviary, gain food, lay eggs, and/or draw new bird cards to your hand. To play a bird card from your hand, first choose the bird and look at the top left of the card for its food cost and location it can go. Place an available action cube at the top of the column where you're playing the bird. The food cost is paid in food tokens from your personal supply. There are 5 types of food: invertebrate, seed, fish, fruit, and rodent. Pay the shown food icons to the general supply. If this color wheel is shown, it can be any food type. If you need to, you may turn any 2 food to substitute for 1 food type you're missing. There are 3 habitats birds can go: forest, grasslands, and wetlands. The bird may have more than 1 possible habitat it could go. The bird has to be played in the furthest left open space in the habitat. You must also pay the egg cost of the column the card falls into. For birds played to the first column, you don't have to pay any eggs. You can see the egg cost shown at the top of each column. If the bird card you just played says "when played," you may immediately use that power. You can take the action to gain food from the food dice in the bird feeder. Put a cube in the leftmost open space of the forest row. For each food die icon printed, you may take one food die out of the bird feeder and collect one food token of the type shown. If the slot where you place the action cube shows this icon, you have the option to discard one card from your hand to gain one more food from the food dice. If the tray is ever empty, throw all 5 dice back through the dice tower. Anytime you would take a food die from the bird feeder, if all the dice have the same face, you can choose to re-roll all 5 dice before taking one. After collecting food tokens, move the action cube to the left, one slot at a time, activating the brown bird powers of each bird card you come across, one at a time. Activating a bird card is always optional. Leave the action cube on the far left of the row when done. In order to lay eggs, use an action cube in the leftmost open space of the grassland row. Collect the number of eggs printed. If the slot also shows a food to egg bonus conversion, you may pay 1 food token to gain 1 more egg. All eggs collected must be immediately placed on bird cards in your aviary. Each bird has an egg limit though. On the left side of each bird card, the printed egg icons show the max number of eggs you can place on them. After collecting and placing eggs, move your action cube one slot to the left, one at a time, to activate those brown bird powers in that row. Using the powers are optional. Leave the action cube at the far left of the row to complete the action. The last action you could take is to draw bird cards. Place an action cube in the leftmost open space of the wetlands row. You may draw bird cards to your hand equal to the number of printed cards on the space. You may draw them from the face-up cards in the bird tray or from the top of the deck in any order. Do not refill the bird tray's face-up cards until the end of the player's turn. If the slot also shows an egg to card bonus conversion, you may pay 1 egg to gain 1 more card. After collecting your bird cards, move your action cube 1 slot to the left, one at a time, to activate the brown bird powers in the row. Again, using the powers are optional. Leave the action cube at the far left of the row to complete the action. There are 3 types of bird powers: when played, when activated, and once between turns. Bird powers are always optional. When played powers have no color background and are only activated once, as they are played on the player's aviary mat. When activated powers have a brown background and can be triggered on bird cards from right to left when using that habitat's action. Some cards allow you to place food tokens on the card, which the game calls the cache. These food tokens cannot be spent, but are worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. Once between turns powers have a pink background and may be triggered on opponents' turns. Players should help each other notice if a card can be triggered. Some bird abilities make reference to a bird's wingspan. It can always be found on the bird card on the right side, here. Additionally, if the bird card has this skull and crossbones icon, it means it is a predator, though technically it should be considered a bird of prey. Some abilities have this icon, which indicates its power involves tucking other bird cards under it to represent creating a flock. Each tucked card scores 1 victory point at the end of the game. Some abilities on bird cards allow the player to draw additional bonus cards for in-game points. Some of the end-of-round scoring tiles reference the bird's nest. There are 4 nest types plus a wild. They can be found under the point value of the bird card and include platform, bowl, cavity, and ground types. The star nests are wild and can count towards any goal. The round ends after each player has played all their available action cubes. Then remove the action cubes from the mat, score the end of the round goal, discard all face-up bird cards on the bird tray, and refresh it from the top of the deck. Finally, move the first player token clockwise. Players place one of their own action cubes onto the goal board to track how they did, which is why as the game progresses, everyone has fewer and fewer actions. The goal board is scored differently depending on which side was chosen at the start of the game. If using the blue side, each player places an action cube on the point space that matches the quantity earned of the round goal tile for that round. For example, this scoring tile has you count how many eggs you have on birds with this type of nest. You have to have at least one of the targeted items to score points for a goal. If you didn't have any of that item, you still place a cube on the board, only on the 0 space. If using the green side, you still count the quantity earned, but compare it to each other's earned items. Each player puts an action cube down on the board as first, second, third, or last. For ties, both cubes get placed on the tied space, and you do not award the next tier. After the fourth and final round, score the goal board like before and move on to in-game scoring. Wingspan provides a score pad to use for the end of the game. From top to bottom, each player scores these items. Each player adds up the point values shown on each bird card played on their mat and scores it on the pad. Next, each player sees how well they did accomplishing the goal cards that they've collected. Jot earned points down here. Looking at the goal board, add up each player's points earned. For ties on the goal board, add the points for the tied place and the next place and divide by the number of tied players. Round down. Fourth place always scores 0. Each egg on a player's mat scores them 1 point. All food tokens that were cached on birds give 1 point each. All tucked cards also give 1 point each. Add the various scores together to get each player's total. The person with the most points wins. If there's a tie in points, the person with most unused food tokens would win. Keep the rulebook handy and check BoardGameGeek.com for FAQs and extra content. Check the video description for links to Board Game Geek, SleeveKings.com for a 10% off coupon on card sleeves, and Mr. Meeple t-shirts for cool board gaming t-shirts. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you found this teaching helpful. Stick around to watch another Learn to Play video. I'm targeting 2 videos a month. If you want to see my videos early or vote on what game I should do next, head over to my Patreon page. See you next time.